If you want to win an audience and keep people's attention, pro tip, it ain't gotta be your story or their story. You can do it. She was able to garner a lot of attention from people. Psychologically, it's beneficial for you to say you'll come back around for them because the algorithm, the next stage is the 4, 5, 4, 5. The 4 is the 4 elements of effective storytelling. If you want to win an audience and keep people's attention, tell them a story. Now we are not in the game of attention, but we are in the game of retention. The platform is going to reward you because people are watching your content and consuming it and spending time on the platform because of you, right? So here's how you guys tell a great story if you want to build great content. A character with a problem. That ain't you, that's the client.
No, we don't have a problem. I have a problem.
You figure out what their problem is. They are the character in your story, and you tell stories about them. Pro tip, it ain't got to be your story or their story. You can do research, read news articles, and break down stories that are closely related to what your clients are going through. I'll give an example of that later because this is one of the things that we do for some of my clients, all right? A character with a problem meets a guide, someone who can guide them with a plan. That's you. You are the guide in the story, right? Character with a problem meets a guide with a plan who calls them to action. You got to have something for them to do. Download this, go here, sign up, buy this, get this. This will solve your problem. And that leads to success. Those are the 4 elements of telling an effective story, right? So I'll give you guys an example. Had a real estate client who was looking to create content about real estate. And one of the things that we did was we went and researched a lot of horrible real estate situations, right? One of the stories that she told was a couple bought a house. They had 2 kids and a cat. And they always say the story might have been different if we maybe had a dog. They bought a house from a guy who had just lost his job. They didn't ask him any questions. They moved into the house and they kept realizing certain strange things were happening. The energy bill was really high. The water bill was really high. And they kept hearing weird noises. I'm not going to tell you the whole story, but at the end of it, come to find out, old boy had created a tunnel in the house and was living underneath the house and siphoning off the energy in the water. That story kept so many people's attention. And she was able to be a guide with a plan because she was like, if you don't want this to happen to you, work with me because I have inspectors and an inspection process to make sure that these things don't happen. And that ended up boosting her retention because majority of the people who she was talking to were women and they're concerned about safety. And so she was able to tell that story, garner a lot of attention from people, and be able to say, hey, I have a solution for that, even though it ain't never happened to you. But if you want to avoid it, work with me, right? Character with a problem, guide with a plan. That story doesn't even have to necessarily be about your potential client. And then, of course, call them to action, which basically means you need to invite them to do something. Now, here's the pro tip. I'm going to make a post about this week, but I'm going to give this to y'all right now. Calls to actions are dead. Do not post anything else with a call to action in it. Instead, create a call to benefit. Instead of saying buy now, say solve your problem now. Instead of saying purchase here, say the solution to what you're looking for is here. Call them to the benefit that they are going to get from making this purchase and transaction. Don't just say buy now. The reason is because we are so inadvertently bombarded with opportunities to buy. Everything has a buy now button on it. We can now pay for Instagram. Everything has a buy now button on. I don't want to see another buy now. And so in order for you to not have my brain turn off from me just saying buy now, tell me what the benefit is that I'm going to get. Could you say follow for more information? You could always say that. However, I'm going to just be real. Look at any of my posts. It's going to be a hard time for you to find me saying follow for more. The reason being is because I deliver so well, I don't need to tell you to follow. If you stupid, you're going to keep scrolling. But if I got what you want, come on here and get it. Like straight up. I ain't got to say that. Again, good dope, sell itself. I'm going to stop saying that because they might shut me down. But anyway, yes, you can definitely say follow for more. Here's the thing. All right, so let me break down, right? Psychologically, it's beneficial for you to say that because human beings don't know necessarily what to do until you tell them. And because we are in such a trance when it comes to these platforms, it's going to behoove you to actually say follow for more because we will tend to keep scrolling. However, if you continue to create in your niche and do it well, you'll come back around for them because the algorithm actually studies your face. And so when people like something that has your face in it, you'll end up coming back to them just by consistently creating. That was one of the most recent updates that they released in the algorithm, was the facial recognition feature in the interest graph. So if you like a lot of stuff that it just happened to me today. I was watching some stuff that had a certain person in it, and next thing I know, all of my feed has him in it. It's Dr. Umar. I was watching a Joe Budden interview. It was kind of funny. But anyway, those are your 4 elements of effective storytelling. Telling a compelling story is going to keep people's attention, right? It is the thing that keeps people interested. It's what I did in the beginning of this live. I told y'all my story. I started doing movies and TV shows at the age of 5. I went on to go to college, learned sales and marketing. I turned that into a DJ gig, did really well, ended up on the radio, built a business for myself. That went beyond 6 figures, did that for 7 years. And now I'm here giving y'all some value. That's a story, right? That's a story. It's not the most effective story because I didn't enter, hey, here's the problem that I had. I did it in the beginning when I said, it was tough for me to leave the acting world, but I wasn't passionate about it. And so I know what you guys are going through if you're like, I'm doing something new. I know that. I had it the hardest because how do you leave being in TV shows and movies? I was working with Halle Berry, Cuba Gooding Jr., Samuel L. Jackson. These are people that I actually still have their numbers, right? I worked with them and I left that world making great money. So trust me when I say I know what sacrifice is like. I know what it feels like when people are like, you doing what? You doing what now? I know what that feels like. And so that's why I'm able to deliver that to you. But that's my story, and I just told it in an effective way. And by you doing that, that's what's going to keep people's attention. It's also what's going to give them a desire to be interested in you. So 5, 4, 5, right? The 5th one, 5 types of content. What type of content do you create that's actually going to be effective? Everybody says to me, I don't know what kind of content to create. So if that is you,